far from the edge of our known world, beyond the reach of our telescopes and the quiet orbits of our planets. Something has entered the light of our sun. A traveler, older than the Earth itself, has crossed into the space we call home. It moves without sound, without warning, gliding through the black ocean between stars. We call it Three-Eye Atlas, the third interstellar object ever known to visit our solar system. A wanderer from the deep cold beyond the sun's reach. It came from a place without name, from a region of interstellar space where even starlight fades. For millions of years it drifted alone through the dark, untouched, unobserved, carrying with it the silent record of distant creation. Then, drawn by the faint pull of gravity and chance, it entered the outer edge of our solar system, crossing the invisible boundary where our sun's influence begins. At first, it was nothing more than a tiny speck of light among thousands, a moving point barely seen through powerful lenses. But soon, scientists realized it did not belong to the family of comets and asteroids we know. Its path was too fast, its orbit too strange, its direction from beyond the stars. It travels at nearly 70 kilometers each second, faster than anything bound by the sun. Its motion tells us it was never born here. The sun cannot hold it. It will pass through and leave again, perhaps never to return. The last time such a visitor came was years ago, and before that, centuries of silence. Three-Eye Atlas is larger than those that came before. It could be 5 kilometers across, or perhaps 50. No one can say for sure. Its surface reflects light in ways that defy our models. At first it glowed red, the color of iron dust exposed to cosmic radiation for ages. Then, as it came closer to the sun, it shifted to green, shining like emerald glass suspended in the dark. Astronomers have seen comets change color before, but not like this. The gases around it seem unusual, dominated by carbon dioxide instead of the water and dust we expect. Its light bends differently. Its tail, instead of streaming away from the sun, sometimes appears to point toward it. In space, everything obeys patterns, but this one resists. It moves as if guided by another rhythm, a code we have not yet learned to read. From Earth, telescopes have tried to watch its journey inward for a time. We could see it faintly, moving within the orbit of Mars, a ghostly glow against the black. But as it neared the sun, it slipped from view. The glare became too bright. Now it travels unseen, hidden behind the light that gives us life. For several weeks, it will remain invisible. During that time, we will know nothing. No images, no readings, only silence. The universe often hides its greatest mysteries in its brightest places. It is now approaching a point called perihelion, the moment of its closest pass to the sun. There, within the intense solar wind and electric field that stretch across the solar system, Three-Eye Atlas will face forces unlike anything it has encountered in its long journey. Charged particles streaming from the sun will strike its surface, stripping atoms from its skin, igniting gases that have slept for eons. Around that moment, anything could happen. It could brighten, it could fracture, it could release a wave of light and dust, or it could pass through untouched, silent as before. No one can say. The mystery of Three-Eye Atlas is not just its origin, but its behavior. It aligns almost perfectly with the ecliptic plane, the thin flat sheet where the planets circle the sun, for an object from outside the solar system. This alignment is almost impossible. It travels through our system as if it knew the path before arriving, as if it were following a thread woven into the geometry of our sun's field. It is within 5 degrees of perfect alignment, closer than many comets born within the system itself. Some call that coincidence. Others think it might mean something deeper, a harmony we have not yet understood. When we watch comets, we see the dance of gravity and light. But in the case of 3I Atlas, the deeper story may be electrical. Space is filled with invisible currents, with fields that connect everything. The sun's electric field spirals outward, meeting the magnetic breath of each planet, forming a vast circuit that stretches to the edge of the heliosphere. Most of the time, these forces are weak, barely felt. But near the sun, they grow powerful, shaping the very motion of plasma and dust. When an object like 3I Atlas enters this region, the connection becomes alive. The electric and magnetic energies may spark reactions across its surface, drawing luminous tails, glowing jets, or sudden discharges of light. We have seen similar things before. The comet Ison once brightened and vanished near the sun. Others have fragmented, releasing sudden bursts of color and plasma. Yet 3I Atlas is not like them. Its structure seems dense, its orbit almost deliberate, its behavior unpredictable. It is a guest from the unknown, and it challenges us to remember how little we truly know. For now, the object continues its silent descent. Its closest moment to the sun will come soon. And then, like all travelers, it will begin its journey outward again, fading from our sight. By mid-November, it may reappear from behind the glare, faint at first, then slowly brightening as it moves away. By then, we will see what has changed if it remains whole, if its tail expands, or if something entirely unexpected has occurred. In the grand scale of time, this passage is brief, a few weeks to us, a blink to the cosmos. But for those who watch the skies, it is a reminder that space is not static. It breathes, it sends visitors, it mirrors our curiosity back to us. Each time we look up, something new crosses the frame, a fragment of the unknown, reminding us that discovery is never finished. As the night falls and the stars begin to show, imagine that faint traveler somewhere behind the sun, glowing quietly in the dark, moving through light older than life itself. It does not speak, but its silence tells a story. The universe is wide, full of wanderers, and somewhere, beyond even our sun's reach, more of them are coming. For a brief moment in time, our planet turns its eyes away from the traveler we call 3I Atlas. Between the Earth and the sun, the object now moves unseen. The glare of the solar light has swallowed it completely. No telescope can find it. No radar can touch it. For the next several weeks, we are blind. We know it is there. We can trace its path through the mathematics of its orbit. But to human eyes, it has vanished into the very light that gives us life. This silence between observation and knowledge is called the blind spot. It happens when an object passes directly behind the sun as viewed from Earth. Astronomers call it the superior conjunction. On the 21st of October, that alignment will be exact. The sun in the center, Earth on one side, 3I Atlas on the other. For a while, all signals between us are lost. Light, data, everything drowned in the brightness of the sun. It is as if the cosmos has drawn a curtain across our view, just as the story reaches its turning point. When this happens, we can only wait. We cannot see if the object brightens or fades. We cannot tell if its surface cracks or if its coma grows wider. We can only imagine. Perhaps it continues unharmed through the furnace of light. Perhaps it changes in ways we cannot yet measure. The unknown stretches wide in moments like these, and that is where curiosity begins to breathe. Scientists speak of the solar wind, a stream of charged particles flowing outward from the sun through the entire solar system. Invisible, relentless. It fills space with energy. It shapes the tails of comets. It sculpts the edges of magnetic fields. At the distance of Earth, that wind is gentle. Near the sun, it becomes fierce. It moves faster than thought. It collides with anything that enters its path. 3I Atlas is moving straight through that current now, passing through an environment of extreme heat and pressure. where dust and plasma dance together in the solar air. There is also the electric field of the sun, unseen but powerful. It reaches far into space, linking every planet, every particle of dust. It connects Mercury and Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, all within a web of flowing charge. Most comets pass quickly through it. They react, they flare, they burn away in silence. But 3I Atlas is no ordinary comet. Its composition is dense and metallic. Its ratio of nickel to iron is strange. It might behave differently under that field. The energy may wrap around it. It may glow from within. It may resist in ways we have never witnessed. Some observers have wondered what could happen when an interstellar body passes through the sun's field so precisely. The orbit of 3I Atlas lies nearly flat along the same plane as the planets. It moves as if tracing a thread between the worlds. That alignment places it directly inside the solar current sheet, a thin region where magnetic polarity flips and energy is at its most delicate balance. Few comets travel that close to this invisible boundary. The fact that this one does is remarkable. To move there is to glide along the heart of the sun's electromagnetic breath. For those who look to the skies, this event is more than data. It is a moment of cosmic vulnerability. The sun holds nearly all the mass of the solar system, yet even it can be touched by visitors. The plasma tails of comets can connect with the solar corona. Electrical exchanges can flash between them. Energy can ripple outward like a heartbeat of light. Could 3I Atlas do the same? Could it send a signal of plasma that changes the rhythm of solar activity for days or weeks? We do not know, but space weather is not static. It listens and responds. The idea that such a visitor could influence the sun is difficult to accept, but not impossible. The sun's surface is alive with patterns that seem to echo interactions we do not yet understand. Each filament of plasma twists and arcs, rising and falling in slow time. When something passes through the solar environment, it becomes part of that pattern. Even for a breath, the energy it carries, the material it sheds, all become part of the greater current that unites every particle in the heliosphere. As of now, we can only wait in the dark. The superior conjunction marks the period of greatest silence. For weeks, no new data will come. We cannot see the object until it emerges on the other side of the sun sometime in November. When it returns, we will learn what the sun has done to it, and perhaps what it has done to the sun. Until then, every idea remains a whisper, every theory a guess. Some people find mystery uncomfortable. They want answers, clear and immediate. But there is a quiet beauty in not knowing. For thousands of years, our ancestors looked up at the same sky and wondered what moved among the stars. They saw comets and thought them omens. They saw strange lights and called them messengers. Today we call them data, trajectories, and plasma. Yet beneath the science, the wonder remains. It is the same feeling that once stirred the first astronomers to lift their eyes at night, a sense that the universe is alive and that something beyond understanding is passing through. When the glare of the sun hides an object from view, the mind begins to travel in its place. We imagine its color changing under heat, its gases swirling into a green haze, its solid core glowing faintly as the solar wind sweeps around it. We imagine it as a spark moving through an ocean of fire, surviving, changing, learning something from the star before leaving it behind. In the absence of sight, imagination becomes our telescope. There is a strange symmetry here. As we lose the sight of the traveler, we are reminded of our own blindness to much of the cosmos. Even with our instruments, most of the universe remains unseen. Dark matter, dark energy, the invisible web of fields and forces that bind everything together. We live inside the mystery as surely as 3I Atlas moves through the solar wind. We too are surrounded by light so bright it blinds us to what lies beyond. And so, the blind spot is not only a moment in astronomy, It is also a metaphor. There are times in life when we cannot see the path ahead, when all we can do is trust that movement continues, that what disappears into light will one day emerge again, changed, perhaps even renewed. 3i Atlas is a mirror held up to that truth. It vanishes not because it is gone, but because it is in the process of becoming something else. Now the traveler approaches its moment of greatest closeness, perihelion, the point of fire. There, surrounded by the currents of the sun, it will meet forces beyond comprehension. It will either endure or dissolve. It will either shine brighter or fade into dust. We will not know until the sun decides to show us. The cosmos holds its secrets tightly, and we, waiting here on our small planet, can only listen. When you close your eyes tonight, imagine that crossing a silent stone wrapped in a storm of plasma, the sun blazing below it, the darkness of space around it. No sound, no witness, only motion and light. That is the blind spot, a place where seeing ends and understanding begins. At the heart of every orbit, there comes a moment when distance ends. The traveler we call 3i Atlas is now reaching that point. Perihelion, the closest approach to the sun. 1.36 astronomical units from the center of the solar flame. After this moment, it will begin to drift outward again. But right now, it is passing through the most powerful region of space that exists within our neighborhood. The furnace of radiation, the sea of magnetic storms, the invisible electric tide that wraps around every world. No one can see it. The glare is absolute. But the mathematics tell us where it should be and what it should face. The solar wind moves at nearly 800 kilometers each second near the sun. Charged particles stream out from the corona. The heat rises to millions of degrees. Space is not empty there. It is thick with energy. Waves of ionized plasma flow in spiral, forming patterns that stretch across millions of miles. Inside this field, the traveler becomes a point of resistance, a knot in the current, and the forces begin to shape it. The coma of 3i Atlas, the cloud of dust and gas that surrounds its core, is now exposed to this extreme light. Carbon dioxide and metallic dust swirl around it. Every molecule collides with particles from the sun, creating ripples of plasma. If we could watch it, we might see thin arcs of green light forming along its sides, the signature of charged carbon streaming outward. In that place, color becomes electricity, matter becomes motion. The object breathes light. Some have wondered if this passage could trigger a transformation. Could the magnetic field of the sun wrap around 3i Atlas, creating an electromagnetic bridge, a temporary line of energy that links the two? If so, a pulse might travel along that bridge, a transfer of plasma and charge. We have seen comets disintegrate this way, suddenly flaring brighter before vanishing. But this traveler is heavier, denser, colder at its core. Its shape may hold together. It may carry its mystery through the fire. Spacecraft that have studied comets near the sun show how alive those encounters can be. Jets of gas erupt like geysers. Dust particles shoot off into space at hundreds of meters per second. The sunlight strips electrons from their atoms, creating glowing tails that can stretch for millions of kilometers. The physics of these moments are simple and violent. Yet behind that violence there is a strange calm. Everything that happens is part of the pattern. Even destruction is just another way the universe rearranges itself. As 3i Atlas passes through perihelion, it becomes part of that pattern. The sun's electromagnetic field, twisting through the ecliptic plane, sweeps around it. The object aligns almost perfectly within that plane. It is not only in the system, but within its very geometry. That alignment allows the sun's electric field to touch it more directly. Like a current meeting, a conductor, every rotation of the sun, every pulse of solar activity, could send waves through that field and into the traveler's path. For centuries, people have spoken of omens in the sky, bright stars, wandering lights. The ancients thought them signs from the gods. We see them as data, but the feeling remains. There is something humbling in watching a fragment of another system touch our own. In that brief contact, two different cosmic histories meet. Two different stories of matter and time cross paths for a moment before parting again forever. That is what is happening now, behind the veil of the sun. No one knows what the sun will do in response. Perhaps nothing. Perhaps a flare, a coronal mass ejection, a sudden brightening that echoes the meeting. There are theories that such encounters can nudge solar activity, that the gravitational and electromagnetic presence of a large body can act as a seed for plasma instabilities. It is speculation, but even speculation has its place in wonder. For in every field of science, there are edges where measurement ends and imagination begins to guide us forward. We know that 3i Atlas will survive or it will not. If it breaks apart, the fragments will scatter through the solar wind, forming a stream of dust that could one day cross the orbit of Earth. If it holds together, it will continue outward, back toward the edge of the system, carrying with it the marks of its passage, its surface changed by solar heat, its color altered, its magnetic field, if it has one, rewritten by contact with the sun. By the end of October, the sun will have done what it always does. It will shine without pause. It will burn. It will pull and release. Around it, space will shimmer with energy invisible to our eyes. And somewhere inside that radiance, a single traveler from another star will pass through. Unseen yet real. The sun will not remember, but we will. In November, as the Earth moves along its orbit, the geometry will shift. The sun will no longer stand between us and the traveler. Slowly, our instruments will open their eyes again. Telescopes will search the region where 3i Atlas should reappear. It may come into view as a faint point of light, its brightness uncertain, its shape changed. We will compare the new data to the old and look for difference. Did it survive? Did it grow brighter? Did it fade? These are the questions that will pull astronomers to their screens in the cold hours of early dawn. The act of watching the sky is an act of patience. We cannot hurry light. We cannot bend time. We wait. And in that waiting, we learn. 3i Atlas reminds us that most of the universe happens beyond our sight. Even when we build machines to see farther and think we have mastered observation, the cosmos still finds ways to hide its moments of truth. The sun keeps secrets. It always has. While the traveler moves unseen, the inner planets continue their quiet orbits. Mercury close to the heat, Venus glowing behind the light, Earth turning in its rhythm of days and nights, Mars circling further out, cold and silent. All of them drift within the same invisible sea that now surrounds 3i Atlas. The currents of energy that connect them all form a single living system. When one particle moves, another responds. Every action in space creates a thread of influence, and together these threads weave the fabric of the cosmos. It may be that 3i Atlas does nothing dramatic. It may pass through the fire unchanged, a silent witness to the power of a star. But even that would mean something. To move through such force and remain whole is a kind of survival we can only admire. It would prove that there are materials, structures, or principles beyond what we know. Every mystery holds a lesson, even if it is not the one we expected. Now, as we wait for it to reappear, the sun continues to shine. Its light falls on our world, on the oceans and mountains, on the metal of our cities, on the glass of our telescopes. The same light that hides 3i Atlas from us also keeps us alive. We share this connection with the traveler, this bond of illumination. For a brief time, we both exist within the same field of light. Then, like everything in motion, we drift apart again, each on our own path through the dark. When you lie in bed and feel the warmth of sunlight still echoing through the day, remember that somewhere in that same light, a stranger from another system has crossed paths with our sun. It has met the source of our life face to face and kept going. In the quiet of night, think of that endurance. Think of what it means to move through fire and remain whole. The universe is telling a story. And tonight, for a moment, we are part of it. There are moments in the turning of the heavens when the patterns above seem to align with perfect precision. We call them alignments, conjunctions, oppositions. But behind those names lies something deeper, a rhythm, a pulse, the quiet heartbeat of the cosmos itself. When 3i Atlas passed behind the sun, it entered not just a field of light, but a network of energy that connects every planet, every grain of dust, and every breath of plasma in the solar sea. The sun does more than shine. It sings. Its surface vibrates with waves of energy that ripple outward through the heliosphere. Those waves interact with the magnetic fields of the planets, with the tails of comets, with the movements of everything that drifts within its domain. Space is not empty. It is an ocean of invisible motion, and 3i Atlas now moves within its deepest currents. As it crossed perihelion, the entire geometry of the inner solar system shifted slightly. New angles formed. New lines of force appeared, linking worlds that have never touched but always influence one another. Astronomers have long known that these alignments are not coincidence. When the planets line up, the combined gravity and magnetic fields can amplify or cancel one another. When a new object passes through that geometry, it joins the pattern. It becomes part of the symphony. In late October, as 3i Atlas reached its closest approach, the system formed a configuration of remarkable balance. Some called it a grand cross, others a grand trine, whatever the name. The result was the same. Forces that usually move in silence began to resonate. At that time, Jupiter and Pluto stood opposite each other, two giants of transformation and expansion. The moon, our companion of tides and memory, joined them briefly in alignment. Across the sky, Venus shimmered near 3 Atlas itself, adding the harmony of beauty and balance. Saturn and Neptune formed their own arc of influence, one representing structure, the other dissolution. Together they created a kind of cosmic tension, a push and pull between order and change. Within that tension, 3i Atlas moved like a needle through fabric, weaving its own thread into the design. If we could see these forces, they would appear not as lines on a chart, but as flowing fields of light, bending and merging in endless motion. Every particle in space responds to them, however faintly. The solar wind carries information. The magnetic field records it. The planets vibrate in sympathy. We live inside this music, though we cannot hear it. Only its effects reach us. A shift in solar activity, a change in the patterns of light, a subtle difference in the flow of charged particles that brush against Earth's magnetic shield. The dance of the cosmos is quiet, but never still. In the ancient world, these alignments were seen as signs. People watched the heavens and felt that the movements above reflected the state of life below. They were not wrong, only poetic, for everything in the universe shares the same field of energy. When large bodies move, they create waves that ripple through space-time itself. On a human scale, those ripples are small, almost invisible, but the principle remains. The sun moves, the earth moves, the traveler moves, and the field between them breathes. Around the time of perihelion, the magnetic energy of the sun was especially complex. Sunspots twisted across its surface. Streams of plasma looped out and fell back in great arcs. The solar wind grew dense. It was as if the sun itself was responding to the presence of the visitor, acknowledging it in the language of energy. We cannot say if that is true, but when we look at the data, The timing is precise. The peaks of solar motion, the brightness variations, the patterns of field strength, all coincide with the journey of 3i Atlas. Maybe coincidence, maybe communication. The line between them is thin. From our point of view on Earth, these events are distant, yet their influence touches us. The magnetic field of Earth is connected to the solar wind. It expands and contracts like a living shield. When the sun's field changes, our field responds. Northern lights shimmer. Radio signals fade. Compasses drift. We are not separate from the system. We are within it. Every heartbeat we feel carries a trace of the solar rhythm. Every breath of air once carried the signature of sunlight. The story of 3i Atlas is a story of connection. It reminds us that the boundaries we imagine between worlds are illusions. The electric field of the sun extends far beyond what we can measure. Each planet, each particle, each traveler from another star becomes part of that circuit. When 3i Atlas crossed the plane of the planets, it entered that network. Its own charge met the current of the solar field. Together they created a small disturbance, a shimmer in the cosmic fabric, a ripple that spread outward through the system and maybe even beyond. To some, this may sound mystical, but it is science in motion. Plasma, magnetism, energy exchange. These are the real languages of the cosmos. Yet behind the equations lies something that numbers cannot hold. A sense of meaning. A sense that what happens out there reflects something deep within. The ancients felt it in their bones. Modern observers feel it in the hum of data. It is the same awareness, dressed in different words. When the geometry of the sky changes, so do we. The pull of gravity is small, but the resonance of meaning is vast. It draws our attention upward. It reminds us that the universe is not random but relational. Every motion is part of a greater whole. 3i Atlas moves through that whole like a spark through a magnetic field, igniting currents we cannot see but somehow sense. In its brief presence, it has touched every planet, not by impact, but by influence. The system itself has acknowledged the visitor, if only for a breath of cosmic time. As the sun turns and the alignment begins to drift, the resonance fades. The planets continue their paths. The fields settle into new shapes. The traveler moves on. But traces remain. Data recorded in the background radiation. Tiny fluctuations in the solar wind, patterns we will study for years to come, trying to understand how one object could leave an echo across so vast a space. In the end, the energy of the cosmos is not a storm to be feared, but a reminder of continuity. What moves through space also moves through us. The same particles that brush against the surface of 3i Atlas will one day touch our atmosphere. The same light that strikes its green coma now will reach our eyes as daylight or starlight. We are made of this connection. We are made of this energy. Tonight, when you look at the night sky, imagine the invisible threads that link every star to every planet, every comet to every beam of light. Feel the quiet power that moves among them. The sun's pulse, the rhythm of orbits, the gentle drift of interstellar travelers. All of it breathing as one great system. This is the energy of the cosmos. Not separate, not distant, but alive. And within it, you too are moving. Now the traveler begins to leave the sun behind. Its long arc through the fire is over. Slowly, it moves back into the cold and quiet of deep space. The light that once hid it will fade, and the object will return to darkness, glowing faintly in the silence beyond Mars. It has crossed the field of the sun, survived the most radiant furnace in the solar system, and carried with it the memory of that passage. It is smaller now, perhaps fractured, perhaps scarred, but still moving, still free. By December, it will be at its closest point to Earth, though still far beyond our reach. We will see it only as a tiny point in the sky, a soft pulse of light against the black. Around that time, the Earth will turn toward the winter solstice, the moment when night is longest and light begins to return. To some, that timing feels meaningful. To others, it is coincidence. Yet both ideas can live together. In the patterns of the universe, even coincidence can speak like a whisper. Every object that enters our sky brings with it a reflection of ourselves. When 3i Atlas came, it brought questions we did not expect to ask. What is it made of? Where did it come from? Why now? But behind those questions hides another, quieter one. What does it mean to us? The human mind cannot help but search for meaning, even in stone and dust. We see light, and we imagine message. We hear silence, and we listen for intent. Perhaps that is what connects us to the stars. The need to understand, the need to belong. The scientists call 3i Atlas an interstellar object, a fragment of something that was born around another sun, in another age, and thrown into the void by the violence of creation. It has drifted for millions of years through the dark, crossing the empty gulf between stars. And now, for a moment, it has passed through our system. Its arrival is not a warning. It is a reminder, a quiet echo of how vast the universe is, and how rare it is to be aware of it. The data tells us that the object moved in near perfect harmony with our ecliptic plane, that its behavior defied the rules of comets, that its tail bent toward the sun, that it glowed green where others glowed white. These facts are extraordinary. But what they suggest is more extraordinary still. The universe does not always follow our definitions. Sometimes it speaks in patterns we have not yet learned to read. Sometimes it sends visitors that teach us how little we know. There is a lesson in that. We spend our lives building models, stories, systems to make sense of the unknown. But the unknown is larger than all of them. The mystery of 3i Atlas reminds us that we are surrounded by forces we cannot fully measure. Energy, gravity, time, consciousness, all of them weaving together in ways beyond calculation. The cosmos is not distant from us. We are inside it, made of it. The same atoms that burn in the sun once drifted in the dust of stars. The same light that strikes 3i Atlas tonight shines on your skin in the morning. As the traveler moves outward, it carries with it a trace of our sun. Particles from the solar wind now cling to its surface. In return, it has left behind traces of itself in the solar field. Dust, energy, resonance, a conversation without words. The kind of dialogue that happens everywhere in nature, between stars and comets, between wind and stone, between thought and silence. The cosmos is built on such exchanges. The same is true of us. Every encounter leaves something behind. Every connection changes both sides, even if the change is invisible. In the old myths, visitors from the sky were seen as messengers. They came to bring warnings, or blessings, or knowledge, perhaps in a way that is still true. 3i Atlas carries no language we can translate, but it speaks through presence, through its timing, through the coincidence of its journey with our own. It appears during a season when the world slows down, when we turn inward, when the long nights invite reflection. It tells us, without sound, to look within as we look outward, to see that the pattern of the cosmos is also the pattern of the mind. Inside each of us, there is a field of thought, a space where light and shadow meet. We call it awareness. It shifts, expands, contracts, much like the fields of energy that move through space. When we become still, when we breathe slowly and listen, that field aligns with something larger, the same harmony that holds the planets in orbit, the same pulse that drives the sun to shine, the same silence that carries a traveler from another world across the stars. The cosmos within is not a metaphor. It is a mirror. So perhaps the real message of 3i Atlas is not about astronomy, but about perception. to remind us that seeing is not the same as understanding, to remind us that silence is not absence, to remind us that mystery is not the enemy of science, but its beginning. We are explorers, not just of space, but of awareness itself. Every new discovery in the sky reflects a discovery waiting in the human spirit. Every question we ask about the universe is also a question about ourselves. When the traveler finally fades from our view, it will continue its journey into the dark. It will cross the boundary of our sun's influence and return to the interstellar void. Centuries will pass before it comes close to another star. Perhaps it will be drawn into another system. Perhaps it will wander forever. But for us, its passing will leave a trace in memory, a small reminder that in the infinite, there are bridges between worlds. And sometimes, those bridges open without warning, without reason, without sound. The next time you look at the night sky, remember that space is not empty. It is alive with motion and meaning. Particles move, fields breathe. Light travels across impossible distances, carrying the story of creation in every wave. Somewhere out there, beyond the range of any telescope, 3i Atlas still moves, still glows, still carries the touch of our sun on its skin. And somewhere within you, the same story continues, written in the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat as you drift towards sleep. Let the thought settle. The universe is not something to conquer or to fear. It is something to listen to feel, to remember. We are part of it, and it is part of us. The traveler's journey is our own, moving through light and darkness, learning what it means to endure. The cosmos is vast, but awareness makes it intimate. Every atom that shines, every breath we take, every dream we hold is part of the same unfolding. In the silence between the stars, we find ourselves. If you found calm in this journey, take a moment to stay with us. Subscribe to Cosmic Sleep Science for more stories that blend wonder and rest, science and stillness. Each week we travel a little further, into the quiet edge of the universe, and into the quiet within you. Share your thoughts below. Tell us what 3i Atlas means to you, or what mystery you would like us to explore next. Your words guide the next voyage. Your presence shapes this space. Until then, rest well, dream deep, and keep your eyes on the stars.